Samantha Cavalli has a First Alert update after talking to officials at Appleton International Airport.
Disruptions continuing today here at Appleton International Airport. As you can see behind me, the long line of people finding out that their flight had been canceled and are looking to try and reschedule for another flight. The global outage has impacted most of Outagamie County, which includes local businesses, county departments, and the airport. Dozens of passengers were frustrated and wondering what to do next after finding out their flights won't be taking off. This after the FAA ground stopped aircrafts from taking off early Friday morning.
And we're planning to get on a Allegiant flight to Las Vegas and be there at 3:30 this afternoon. Well, that didn't happen.
Pat Miller's flight is one of just over 4,300 flights that were canceled across the globe, according to Jeremy Dyken with Fox World Travel. As well as tens of thousands more were delayed. Airlines are slowly coming back online, but it will take some time before they are fully operational, as each carrier was impacted differently.
If you are United Airlines or Delta Airlines and your footprint is much bigger, some of these fixes required manual intervention. So for them, they may not be fully recovered yet, at least across the board. But by and large, we're seeing the schedule return to normal.
It's unfortunate, but computers, that's what happens.
The tower is still operational, which means that air traffic control can still accept planes that are arriving here for EAA this upcoming week. Reporting in Greenville, Samantha Cavalli, Action 2 News.